What is up, RotoGrinders? Happy Friday. 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation. It starts right now at DFS Almanac, as well as Bobby Gomes, former $1 million winner, and Ted Chopper, two-time $1 million winner. It's a 10-gamer again, a 10-game slate, big boy slate, not messing around. A lot of unbalanced slates this year in the early going. That's kind of the way it is, but you get used to like 4 and 10 and 4 and 10 and 4 and 10. Tonight, it's 10. We have 10 teams, 20 in total, but 10 of those teams are on the front end of a back-to-back, so a lot of back-to-back stuff. Nobody in the back end. Charlotte, Chicago, the Cavs, Detroit, Houston, the Lakers, the Grizz, Toronto, Phoenix, Orlando. DeJounte Murray already donezo for a while. Big injury for New Orleans. They are getting Zion back tonight. Quickly, not officially ruled out. I think he's doubtful, but there's no chance. Quickly plays tonight for Toronto. That's a big deal. Of course, Philly is still without Paul George. They're still without Joel Embiid. They got absolutely shellacked last time to start the season. Brandon Miller's got a butt, so he can't play for at least a week or so. He's not playing basketball tonight. Bogdanovich for Atlanta has been ruled out as well. Not much as far as things we're waiting for. You think it'd be more on a 10-gamer. Right now, the big ones that I see basically like the greens, right? They're not even big, I suppose. But that's essentially the injuries we're waiting for. Josh Green. What's the other one for Milwaukee? Gary Trent. Gary Trent is questionable, which I don't know how much that matters because I was looking at the if-then stuff and
it matters. Everything matters, man. Are you kidding me?
Well, it matters for Trent because I think Trent's a perfectly fine play, but nobody really jumps up. What's up?
Somebody will jump up. The way this works, Dean. It's the way NBA DFS works, Dean. If you're not in front of your computer for the entire duration of the slate and you can't make those changes, you will lose, Dean. So you better be prepared when Gary Trent gets ruled out to put somebody in his place.
Well, here's what I'm telling you. We have the if-then stuff set up for Trent, and the only two positive plays if Trent is out is still just Giannis and Lillard. Lillard looked awesome game one. It'll be a combination, of Prince and Wright and Connaughton. Maybe AJ Green gets some run, but I don't think any of those guys are going to be worth playing.
I believe it when I see it.
Would you like one? You're really combative on this job. You really believe that one of those guys, Connaughton, Wright, Prince, and Green, you think one of those guys would step up and actually be useful?
Who's Gary Trent play for? Let me ask you. First of all, let me ask you.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it until like 2 seconds.
Still play for Toronto?
Oh my God!
Does he still play for Toronto?
No, he plays for Milwaukee.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's money.
Chop, I've been digging in on NBA stuff, doing content since like 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'm on top of it, man. I'm very much in the weeds as far as this slate. So
what I'm saying is, Dean, is okay. Gary Trent gets ruled out. Right now, he's in and he's projected for what? What do we have him at right now currently? I'm seeing pretty decent projection on Gary Trent, right? Like
it's all right. Yeah. He's perfectly fine.
Let's say he gets ruled out.
25 fantasy points, 5K
and TK. You never even had Gary Trent in your lineup, but he gets ruled out. Okay, who gets a slight? Is the bump to Connaughton at $3,900? Is that enough to put him on a lineup? Which then, because of that savings, you end up getting Anthony Davis, who goes for 70 points later, which you wouldn't have had. Like that's how this works, Dean. So it matters.
What I'm telling you is there are already better plays around Connaughton's price, even if Connaughton gets that bump, and he's not even like. It's possible, sure. Connaughton can hit like 4 or 5
GPPs, threes. Dean. We're talking GPPs. You're talking cash. You're talking
not.
Cash. Yeah, you are.
I'm just saying. I'm saying the likelihood
is a better play.
What?
There's no such thing in GPPs as a better play. Like everybody who gets
there's likelihoods and probabilities, and the likelihood of one of Connaughton, Wright, Prince, and Green mattering, like really mattering, is not that strong. That's the point I'm making.
What was the likelihood that Chet went for 70 last night on Jokic?
Chet's awesome. Chet is really, really good. He's
that projected, Dean. Get out of here.
I had Chet in a lot of my lineups, actually.
You didn't have him projected for 70, though.
Of course
good job, guys. Good job.
Chet's actually a good basketball player. You think DeLon, right?
Yeah, that's debatable. We'll see. He's still got a lot of years.
Awesome. What are you talking about?
We'll figure it out as he gets older.
OKC is the best team in basketball, best team in the West. Maybe it's Boston in the East. But, Chet is really, really good. And I don't know why would you besmirch Chet? He's awesome. And that one play where he had the block on one end and the dunk on the other ends, he's spectacular. All right. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We were fired up pre-show. We were arguing about the World Series. Now we're arguing about basketball. It's going to be fun for sure. Bobby, did you get a fresh cut? This is being alleged in the chat. Did we get a fresh haircut game going today?
No. Hair's growing back in slowly but surely. Hopefully it gets there. Getting to that age,
I understand. 70 minutes. 70 minutes until we have crunch time coming in. That's Kevin Roth coming on later, as well as TJ Zwarych, Taylor as well. We're not doing the tiers today because there's so many games. We don't have time. Especially we're going to get sidetracked talking about the Bucks for 7 minutes of nonsense. We'll get there. And what if Trent even plays? He might just play. We'll see. Stay tuned on that. But, Chop, you have anything as far as overview, big picture on this slate? I like too many plays. This is what happens, I guess, when you're staring at the slate all day. Anthony Davis looks like he's very, very clearly going to be the guy. One game, yada, yada. But, LeBron's going to be 40. At some point, Father Time has to, come in there. Davis looks amazing. The usage was off the chain there. With Redick being the, taking over the helm for the Lakers. Giannis should absolutely destroy Chicago. Chicago had the fastest pace in all of basketball to start the season and preseason. They were super fast. First game, they had the second fastest pace so far it's played this year. Atlanta versus Charlotte looks like it could be a lot of fun. Banchero, Orlando is the best team in Florida. That's what it is. That's not an overreaction. The Heat are going in the wrong direction. Orlando's going in the other direction. There's a lot to like. We have a rematch shop of the Knicks and Indiana as far as that playoff series. Maxey theoretically can get like 40 shots off tonight versus Toronto because he's the last man standing. I like so much. Do you have any thoughts, big picture, before we're going to dig in and talk about the slate game by game?
Not really. Just, if you're playing cash, you just right there in front of your face, it's optimized stuff, and that's pretty easy pickings. And if you're playing GPPs, just throw some stuff at the wall, Dean, and just hope it sticks. That's all you can do. It's basketball, man. It stinks.
Bobby, can you give me something more useful than that? That was, I don't know what's Chop. That was really, Bobby, you got anything as far as a big picture slate wise? Anything you have your eye on?
Big picture slate wise. I watched that Charlotte Houston Rockets game the other night, and LaMelo looked absolutely fantastic. You guys talked about AD, and I like AD tonight, obviously, but LaMelo Ball, I think, is an extremely strong play, along with Scotty Barnes, with quickly out now. So those are guys that I'm currently targeting, I think, for GPPs. And, ready to go game by game.
Yeah, LaMelo was awesome. And the other big thing for LaMelo was 38 minutes. 38 minutes in that first game. I don't know if that's going to hold. That probably doesn't hold, especially with his history of injuries. But just to know that that's possible, that he might play 38 on a given night, that was spectacular. There's just two games. What do you got?
I'd like to say one thing. Whoever gave a LaMelo Ball that back tattoo or whatever he has on his body had a real sense of humor. I'll just throw that out there. Real sense.
I don't know about his back tattoo.
Did you see the tattoo that he has? Like this crazy tattoo all over his, I don't know.
We'll have to give it a Google, I suppose, but I'll check. I'll check that out in a second. But all right, let's go ahead and knock out this first game. Again, there's two games at 7:00, 10 in total. First one we're going to talk about Philadelphia at Toronto. 220.5 is the total. Toronto is a 5-point dog, despite the fact that Philly is going to be without Joel Embiid. They're going to be out with Paul George. And then, of course, Toronto is missing RJ Barrett. They're missing Kelly O quickly, who I don't think is officially been ruled out. But come on, he's not playing basketball tonight. So Toronto is thin. They're already battling for, the ping pong balls. It's going to be a spectacular draft on layaway. So, Bobby, I will throw it to you. It's tricky because typically, 220 total doesn't really excite us so much, but this is one of my favorite games on the slate. I don't really love loading up early, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know how you feel. You tell me. Philadelphia, Toronto, do we like this spot?
Yeah, like I said, Scotty Barnes, I think, is a fantastic play. Just you're taking quickly out, and the usage is just going to go to Barnes. I think he's a super strong play at 8,800. Jacob Poeltl at 6'1". He's someone I'm going to be way overweight on in the slate. Maxey with no Paul George and Embiid should see a ton of usage. Like him a good bit. I mean, I've Chris Boucher at 3.9. I think he's going to play around 18 minutes. I think he's an interesting value play. Grady Dick had a good night the other night at 5K. So I think those are plays that you can kind of look at in this game.
I was going through the minutes of some players. Grady Dick played 19 minutes in the first half. If you're going to extrapolate that, and it was a blowout, so he didn't close the game, but I think it's just sort of possible, especially how thin they are, that he could play 35, 36 minutes or so tonight. Second-year player, maybe he takes a leap. I like him as kind of a mid-tier. And he's kind of right there with like guys like Gary Trent, by the way. He's sort of in that conversation. We're expecting Davion Mitchell to draw the start for Toronto to jump in for quickly. Maxey should take a ton of shots here. We did see KJ Martin draw the start last game for Philly, and then he just got booted to the bench and basically never came back. Didn't start the second half because the other Martin, Caleb Martin, played a bunch of minutes there, who's, I think, distinctly better too. The only thing my favorite play in this game is Drummond. So Drummond, we know how much he can smash fantasy points per minute. The absence of Embiid, good matchup versus Toronto. He's coming off a terrible matchup versus Milwaukee. Milwaukee's really, really good in the inside. Brook Lopez kind of clamped him. It was a blowout. He had foul trouble. All those things working against him. Toronto gives up top 5, going back to last season, top 5 points in the paint, bottom 5 as far as rebounding. Andre Drummond was the best rebounder in all of basketball last year. It was like 18 for 36. It's by far the best rebounder in basketball, and he scored 80% of his points in the paint. So this matchup is awesome for him. One of my favorite plays in the entire slate. Chop, what do you got? Philly and Toronto.
There's some good plays in this game. There's no doubt about that, Dean. Drummond's fine, and Caleb Martin's fine, but all right, what is he going to be? 30% probably. I don't know, man. There's a lot of chalk. Oubre's fine. Maxey's good, expensive. Scotty Barnes, expensive, but very good. I think Pirtle, maybe that's the one guy that might not get as much ownership as some of these other guys, and he's good. And then your boy, your favorite guy right there, Gravy Dick. You love that guy. And so he's in play now. Is that his name, right?
No, it's not Gravy.
I said Grady Dick, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard Gravy. Never mind.
Goodness, you got something else on your mind. It's Friday night for you. I get it. You got some things going on. Yeah, he's good. He's going to get minutes. He's a good outside shooter or whatever. He's a fine player. Yeah, there's some good players in this game.
This is I'm not somebody that goes out of my way to game stack necessarily on a 10 gamer, but I would have some lineups with 4 or 5. Is that I forgot about his nice job there by producer Steve. I forgot about his draft day outfit. Look at that. Do you want to give that a grade, Chop? What do you want to grade Grady Dick's draft day outfit? Do we like that?
That is unbelievable. That's what he wore?
Well, yeah. It's not. That's him on draft night.
Who advised him on that one?
I don't know.
He looks like the slippers from the Wizard of Oz.
He looks like Boogie Night. No, not Boogie Night. What's the movie back in the day? I don't know. It's slipping my mind.
You're thinking of Boogie Nights you're talking about? Mark Wahlberg?
Is it Boogie Night? I don't even know.
I'm not sure what you're going with on that, but Saturday Night Fever or something? I don't know.
Maybe Saturday Night Fever. I don't know. I'm forgetting which one it is. One of those old movies.
But Fighting Moose says Night at the Roxbury. I don't know.
Night at the Roxbury.
Is that what it is?
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Him. Don Easy telling us in chat that RJ Barrett is officially rolled out. Yeah, we kind of assumed that. Are we getting the rest of the stuff here? Yeah, quickly rolled out for the next 2 games. Orlando also rolled out Jonathan Isaac with a hip for what it's worth. Okay, yeah, there's going to be some information drop in 10 gamer, but again, not a ton of stuff we have our eyes on. But amongst the 10, this game is one of my favorites. Brooklyn and Orlando, 215 the total. Orlando is a 12-point favorite here. Orlando, again, they're good. They play really good defense. Brooklyn is not good. They're actively they have the perfect player to try to lose, and then that's Cam Thomas, he's going to shoot a ton of shots inefficiently. But you don't get docked for missed shots here, obviously. But yeah, Orlando just had Isaac ruled out. Brooklyn is going to be without. They're still without Watford. They're still without Sharp, and Bogdanovich also out for them too. Claxton, we're currently projecting him to start. That would be kind of surprising to me. He didn't play any preseason. His minutes they were subdued the first game of the year. I'm curious to see if that is the case, because I would not be surprised if he doesn't start. But
you weren't subdued. He got ejected.
Well, at the end of the game, right? Was that like a late ejection, if I'm not mistaken?
I don't know.
He didn't start. Simmons was center. That's what I'm. Yeah.
Simmons actually pushing those minutes down just because maybe I think they were getting they get blown out too. I'm trying to remember how that worked, but you only played 15 minutes. No, it was a close game. It was a close game against Atlanta. But I just don't think they're going to play him a ton of minutes, even if he does start.
No, if he starts, I'd think he'd be fine. But as long as he's not starting, then that tells me that he's not going to, minutes aren't going to get pushed. But if once they give him the green light to start, I think, boom, minutes take off.
Well, we're projecting him for 24 minutes and to start as of right now, which to me, that's unplayable. And he's 6'5", so there's no and center is loaded. So I'm not making 150 lineups tonight. If I was, there's still no chance. I'm playing Claxton this evening. Chop, how do you feel about Brooklyn and Orlando? Future MVP, maybe, possibly. Banchero is awesome. They're already talking about him as most improved player, which is, I don't understand how that's one of the dumbest awards. I have no idea how they quantify it because he was great last year too. But yeah, I want to get some stock in him theoretically. But yeah, Orlando's good. Brooklyn's bad. I don't love this game as a general thought. Where are you, Chop?
Don't like the Brooklyn side. They definitely stink, and I don't want to go that route against a pretty good Brooklyn defense. I mean, pretty good Orlando defense. Banchero's good. He'll get his shots up this game. Wendell Carter might be okay here. Just a little. It's a good matchup, and Jalen Suggs, maybe a little Jalen Suggs in there, just for some salary purposes. But that's about it. None of these other guys interest me at all.
If this game stays close, I think Simmons is a little bit interesting. We always talk about getting the cheap triple-double. I don't think he ever can score 10 points. But, the assists are certainly there as a possibility. The boards are fine, too. There's still a chance he might start at the 5 tonight, essentially. We'll see how that goes. But I just don't like this team, and he's not a guy that's going to play a ton of minutes. We're currently projecting 25. Maybe there's a few more minutes there if the game is close. But, yeah, what do you got here, Bobby? I don't love this game overall. Banchero's coming in at a big ownership, which is a little bit surprising to me. I like him a good bit, but 32% of the 10-gamer is where we're at right now on DK, which to me might be a tick too high. How about yourself? How do you feel about Brooklyn and Orlando?
Yeah, I don't love this game as a whole. Jalen Suggs at 4,800 is definitely my favorite play. Probably be under on the Banchero ownership. I was under on Banchero the other night, though, and I regretted it pretty early. So, yeah, it's pretty much like I think I'd prefer Franz at 7K and take the 1,700 in savings from Banchero if I was choosing anyone. Wendell Carter, like him a good bit. Like, I don't mind playing him. 5,100, good price tag. I feel like he's one of the more underrated players in the NBA too. But I don't want to get to too many of these Orlando guys because I don't really love this game environment. Ben Simmons at 5'6". Like, if he's going to see center minutes, he does have the opportunity for one of those low double-doubles. And then maybe little value, Jalen Wilson at 3,700. Played all right the other night. I don't know if you're playing 150, maybe throw him in there, but it's nothing I wouldn't get too heavy on for sure.
He played like 35 minutes off the bench. It was so weird. I don't think that's repeatable. 35 minutes off the bench, but you don't need 35, obviously.
What if he plays like mid-20s, though?
I don't know if he's a good enough fantasy producer. Like, he'd probably get you around 20. The matchup stinks. He probably mops up if this game gets ugly. Do we care about Isaac being ruled out? Like, where do those 15 minutes go? They're probably figuring it out right now. Does Carter get much more? Does Mo Wagner get anything? Gogo Batase? None of it. We currently have Batase projected for 2 minutes. He'll probably get more. I don't think it matters, though. It's like my first thought. You guys think it matters that Isaac being ruled out?
It boosts some of the forwards a little bit.
Carter might get 29 minutes or 30 instead of 28.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt.
Probably spreads out.
And Mo Wagner probably gets a couple extra. Goga probably gets a couple extra. But I don't think – we'll kind of circle back if the projection team feels differently. We'll give it a refresh when that comes in. But I think we should move on, boys. Indiana, the Pacers and New York, 227.5 is the total. New York on a Friday night in the Garden. This was an awesome series last year. We saw several games where Brunson got off and dropped 40 burgers a couple times. Cat here now, of course, in place of Randall. No DiVincenzo as well. We saw Miles Turner play, 36 minutes? We talked about this one last show. We're like, yeah, he only plays 28, 29 or so last year, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen going forward, but it's just good to see that that's a possibility. What are we projecting here for the what is Miles Turner? 31 minutes. Okay, yeah, a bit of a boost as far as his projection. Halliburton, kind of a great game for Halliburton. We saw Pascal pretty solid out there. I'll let you handle this one here, Bobby, as far as Indiana and New York. Any leans here? 10 gamer. How do we feel? Remember McBride was also kind of the chalk du jour. He scored a bunch of points. That's his only way of getting there, essentially. He's got to put the points in the bucket. He can do that. He was really hot, but even scoring 18, 19 points, whatever it was, he just doesn't do anything else. So it's hard to see him really fully breaking the slate. He's getting a fair bit of ownership because the price only bumped up to 4-1. What do you got, Bobby? Pacers, New York.
Yeah, McBride was super efficient the other night. What, he hit his first 5 shots out the gate. Someone who was very chalky the other night and really didn't get there was Josh Hart, and I think it has more to do with the Celtics' length. And I feel like he is probably someone from the Knicks that I'm going to try to get over on. We know all these Knicks are going to play a ton of minutes. Jalen Brunson's a really good play at 8,600. Karl Anthony Towns at 8K. I think they need to utilize Towns a little bit differently, get him to the 3. They were kind of moving him inside a lot the other night, but for me, it would be Hart, Brunson, Towns. With Isaiah Jackson, pretty much he's out, right? So Turner's going to see that increase in minutes at 6,700. I don't mind Turner. I think he's a good play. Not getting to any Halliburton. Currently, that's pretty much it. From the Indiana side, unless I'm missing someone, there's no one I really want to get to too much. There is revenge here for the Knicks too, right? Indiana knocked them out last year. I think the Knicks are going to have a pretty good night. It should be very pace up, right? Number 2 scoring offense in the league with the Knicks last year. So
Garden's going to be rocking for sure. But Jackson officially questionable. We are currently projecting him for 11 minutes. And I think that's what kind of opened the door. I think that kind of opened the door for Turner to get a few extra minutes. So keep an eye on that. It doesn't really matter for Jackson. We're giving him 11. But if he doesn't go, maybe Turner gets a couple extra.
Yeah.
So I think that's worth noting. What do you got, Chop?
Oh, Dean, same old, same old. Let's just first off, let's talk about Indiana, Dean. Miles Turner is going to be the only pacer in this game that draws over 2% ownership, I bet. So, and the Knicks, this is not a Tom Thibodeau, the old Tom Thibodeau anymore. These guys don't play any defense. They let people score on them right and left. So, it's a pretty good thing to if I was in the game stack in NBA, which I'm not, it'd be an option because you're getting no ownership on this one team against a team that really doesn't play that much defense. So you can attack them pretty well. Man, that's just Indiana. For New York, Brunson, good price. Towns, while I don't think he's going to be a very good real life player for them, I don't think he's going to get them to where they think they want to go this year. He's probably not going to be a bad DFS player. So he's in play at this price tag. Miles McBride, very, very unexciting, but a good salary saver if you need that. Those wings, OG and Mikal, no thanks. Nope, not playing them. And to be honest, when everybody's healthy, Josh Hart might be the most overprojected guy in the NBA when everybody on the Knicks is healthy.
He doesn't really score.
He thrives when when there's like a 5-man rotation and everybody's out and he can take shots and everything. Otherwise, he hardly ever lives up to the hype like in years past. And now we're kind of it feels like he's being projected all over the industry as the guy who we saw at the end of last year in the regular season when they just didn't have anybody. He's not that guy. So like 20+% ownership. Yikes. I don't know. I'll be way underway on that in GPPs.
We'll see how it hurts. The addition of Cat, I think it's hurting his rebounds. Like Josh Hart, known to being like one of the best defensive rebounders in the league. One of the best shooting guard rebounders in the league. He only had 4 in the first game, and I'm not going to draw too much from that, but it is worth noting. I think his rebounding is going to take at least somewhat of a hit with Cat coming in. But yeah, I certainly wanted to note that for Hart. By the way, the other interesting thing, Bobby was talking about pace. It's basically the fastest team last year versus the slowest team last season, with Indiana being super fast and New York being really slow. Just kind of worth noting, kind of curious to see how that's going to change. But anything else here as far as this game, Bobby, or shall we move on?
We can move on. I'm not going to move on my screen, though, because I'm frozen again. But yeah.
Oh, boy. You look like the thinker.
I like this. Yeah,
it's a good freezing spot. If
I don't know what
is
is going on my computer. My computer must just be totally fried at this point.
How long have we? Is it a couple of years?
I'm about ready for a new one. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. This should be a fun one for sure. We hear you just fine, by the way, Bobby. We hear you just fine. But again, if you're gonna freeze, that is a spectacular spot to freeze on for what it's worth. Okay, Charlotte. By the way, Tasteful Times in chat, our partner on the People Show, says that is a spectacular spot to freeze. Let's give a shout out to Tim, Tasteful Ties. It's his birthday. Everybody wish Tim a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Timothy.
Giving him the casual.
Playing some NHL tonight, Tim. I hope your projections and your tags don't steer me wrong.
Tim's been crushing NHL, and shout out to Dane too on the projection team who took down the Q for DK a couple days ago as well. So hockey is hot. Chop, I didn't know you dabble in those hockey streets.
I don't, Dean, but there's a promo on DraftKings. You got to play like some hockey to get you some garbage. I don't know.
You get like $1,000, or if you really load up, or I can't remember the number it is, but yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot that. Yeah, I'm going to play some MMA too, probably because I think it makes sense to do it if I want to hit the promo. Okay, Charlotte, Atlanta, 226.5. That is our total. It's a pretty big total. As far as the injuries, Atlanta's kind of thin. There's no Buffkin. There's no Cody Zeller. There's no Bogdanovich. All the Bogdanoviches are out tonight. All of them. None of them are available. No Dominic Barlow. So like the new injury this year for since the last game is Bogdanovich. This is why Dyson Daniels is projecting really well. We saw Okongwu really get loose last game. He's on both my season-long teams. You guys know that. You guys know you care about my season-long teams. Big fan of Okongwu. I expect he's going to take over Capella soon enough. He's only in game 1. Capella probably still starts. Not long for this team. I think he's a free agent in the season. But yeah, Capella is interesting on FanDuel just because he's super, super cheap. And Okongwu, I think it's a pretty good price on DK. Bobby, you talked about liking LaMelo. LaMelo looks spectacular here. Trey, of course, sure. Yeah, Charlotte, by the way. Oh, we should ask Chop. I don't know if you were watching the game. What happened to your Rockets? They collapsed against the Hornets.
Yeah.
Although Şengün got loose.
He got loose in the first half. They went ice. They just stopped hitting shots, man. And they don't have any offense to. I mean, I don't know, man. They don't have any offense when the 3-pointers aren't falling at all. It's like they're brain dead. When, 3-pointers aren't falling, Jalen, go ahead and get to the rim. You can do that pretty good. You don't have to settle for these step-back 3-pointers all game long in the second half. So they fell, but I could lead it off here, Dean, because, we talked about it on the Wednesday show about the coaching change in Charlotte and a former point guard taking over and how he was going to get the most out of his backcourt. And LaMelo looked excellent in that game. As good as I've ever seen him play, and people kind of forget that dude is he's really tall and really long for a point guard. He's got all the ball handling skills you want. a superb passer. He can get to the rim. He can rebound a little bit. He just, when his 3-point shot is falling, he's one of the best in the game. And I hate to say it because he's kind of a buffoon, but he's one of the best in the game. So you keep on riding him until the wheels fall off, or until he gets hurt or something. He's good. This is chalk city in this game between Melo, Cody Martin, another good salary saver. That'll be super chalky. Trey Mann looked good.
We don't have that right now, Chop. I don't want to cut you off. We only have Cody Martin right now at like 7% on TK at 3.7.
Nah, he'll be 20%.
I think Dyson Daniels is the cheap guy in this game that's going to get played. Where we have him at 25%.
Dyson Daniels is going to be owned by 40+%. Cody Martin will be 20%. Like Cody Martin's in. Let me look real quick. Yeah, Cody Martin's in all the write-ups around the industry, man. Like people gravitate to that, and he's going to get a good projection at 3,700, and people are going to save that money. 3,700. That's almost 1,000 less than Dyson Daniels. Yeah, he'll be 20%. So,
I think it would matter if Josh Green doesn't play. I mentioned.
Well, of course, that all depends on. But we assuming Josh Green is out right now, because if Josh Green is in, then we scrap the whole thing. But Josh Green will probably be out, and that'll make Cody Martin 20% chalk. I'm just looking at all the numbers that everybody has, not just one number. So we're seeing Cody Martin as chalk. Trey Mann looked good. I don't know if it was a fluky thing, but he looked pretty good. And so, he'll be there. Dyson Daniels will be super, super highly owned after that first game at only 4,600. I like DeAndre Hunter a little bit. Probably another chalk guy. You talked about Okongwu. He's fine too. Those are the guys I'd be leaning to in this game. But this is a super chalky game in general.
I'm trying to see. I think we had an if-then for Josh Green. And yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Chop, because we are projecting Green in right now for Charlotte, and that's the reason why the ownership is so low. We're talking about as far as Martin, that would change. And I wanted to see if we had an if-then setup. I know we had a couple set up. Try to find it here on the fly. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, if Green is out, Trey Mann will become a positive value. About 30 minutes and 26 FanDuel, 27 DK projection. Cody Martin wouldn't get a great projection, which is kind of surprising. I think it's a little low. And of course, this stuff can change. That's a little surprising that his projection would. And Seth Curry, we have him starting, but do you want to play Seth Curry in the year 2024, 25? I don't think so. I suppose he can get hot from 3, but that's basically his only route. I'm not sure if Bobby is here with us still. I just see the still shot. I know he's trying to jump in and jump out and clarify his image. Is Bobby still with me? If so, jump in here. It appears he's not. Right? Gave him plenty of time to chime in. Hopefully he'll be jumping back momentarily. All right. Chop, anything else you want to say as far as this game, or shall we move on?
I said my piece.
Okay. Next game is Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland is good, and they're playing fast. 227.5 is the total. Detroit is a monster dog here. They're 11-point dogs here as far as who's in and who's out for Cleveland and Detroit. Oscar Thompson, I assume he's still out with the blood clot issue. Cleveland, Max Strus, he's going to be out for what they say 6 weeks or something like that with his ankle. So we're not going to see him for a bit. This is a tricky one, Chop. Also, Detroit, I guess it's worth mentioning that, who's the guy that's basically his career is over now? The former number 1 pick. It tore his ACL. Bummer for him. But I can't remember his name now. But,
for who? Detroit?
Yeah. Am I losing my line? Am I thinking this? Am I getting my teams confused? Oh, you know what? It was never mind. It was a revenge game, I think, against Detroit. Nonetheless, let's move on. Cleveland. I think Donovan Mitchell's an awesome play. Mobley was spectacular. And it seems like they're making a point to run more offense through him as well. A little bit of concern as far as blowout stuff here, but I think Mitchell and Mobley are awesome plays here, Chop. It's just, again, the slate is really good. I don't know how much I'm prioritizing them. If I was running 150, of course, they're both in my pool. You tell me, what do you have as far as Cleveland and Detroit?
Well, we mentioned it on Wednesday with these coaching changes. If it's a good coach and you get something going in there, then you got to be prepared. And Cleveland looked really sharp, really good, and it really helped out several of these players. So you go back to the well if you can fit them in. Mitchell's fine, Mobley's fine, Allen's okay, and Garland. I don't expect him to be that poor the whole year long. So if it's a GPP flyer right there. And Detroit to me I think they probably got one player I really like. That's Cade Cunningham. He's priced appropriately against a pretty good team, so that's probably not a path I want to take.
Yeah, they play fast. They're a good defensive team too. But we did see Cunningham get loose for 37 minutes on opening night against the Pacers. Thank you, chat. By the way, that was Wiseman, James Wiseman, who was playing against his former team in Detroit on Indiana, who tore his ACL and possibly.
Goodness, Dean.
What's up?
Think about what if, just hypotheticals, and we'll do hypotheticals all day, but it's fun to do sometimes. What if Golden State doesn't waste that pick on Wiseman? Instead, they take LaMelo. Oh, buddy.
That would be, I'm sure the people out there in San Fran, in the Bay, they definitely run that a few times. And I mean, I'm not a big draft guy. You know that. I'm Chop. You're locked in on that stuff. Was that super obvious that it was Wiseman? Was it like a no-brainer that it was Wiseman? Or was this like a 50-50 call?
No.
I mean, at the time. What were the pundits saying?
At the time, it's not even a 50-50 because at the time, the big men were already still getting run out of the league. They had just, big men were becoming, unless you could shoot a three-pointer, you were becoming obscure anyway. So why take a chance on a big man who can't shoot a three-pointer that's just a big energy guy and a big rebounder? Like, you can get that from Andre Drummond, man, for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was not – LaMelo was the pick at the time pretty easily. It definitely wasn't a big man, that's for sure.
Bobby's picture has jumped back on the screen. I don't know if that means he's here or he's not here. Bobby, if you're here, say hello.
Okay. He's not here, man.
He keeps coming and he's going.
Hey, Bobby, take the afternoon off, brother. We'll send you your check. It's okay.
Steve, let me know if we get Bobby back because it's hard to tell. I see the picture, but I don't know if he's just here in spirit only. But all right. Hey, chat, hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. We have, 40 minutes? Chop, we got 40 minutes. We might even have time. We're kind of flying through this.
We don't have 40 minutes.
Yeah. No we're here till like 6:20. Yeah.
Who's? Oh, my God.
How long do you think the show was going to be, Chop?
An hour? That's all we need, isn't it? Especially with a two-man booth now.
It's your usage is getting boosted up. You're like you're
I'm gonna have to call corporate now, man. I don't get paid enough to take Bobby's workload plus an extra 40 minutes here. My goodness.
You're Tyrese Maxey. You got to take all the shots now, Chop. How do you feel about that? You going to be as efficient? I don't know, but feel free to fire away for sure. Do want to mention, by the way, combo is on sale. If you guys don't know, busiest time of the year as far as sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey. There's still baseball, World Series. Let us know in chat. Let's run a poll. Steve. I know this is a basketball show. We were talking about this pre-show. Who's winning the World Series? Dodgers, Yankees, or I hope they both lose. I know that's what Steve wants to put in. That's what we were debating it. So there's our poll. Don't care. Hope they both lose. Somehow neither wins because people love to hate on the Dodgers and the Yankees. World Series does start tonight. But, go. If you want to play a little World Series stuff, you want to dabble on that, which I think, Chop, isn't baseball involved in the promo there we were talking about? I think it is.
Oh, man.
I think it is.
I think I said, I got to check. I think I did a lineup already for baseball. Yeah, great, man. A little showdown action, I think I did. I might have just done some props. But it is, I think you do, to get the full 5, you need to do some baseball.
I was looking at it. I was looking at the prop stuff, and I didn't really love anything. But Freeman is playing tonight, by the way. Also, Evan Phillips not in the World Series roster for the Dodgers, which may matter. Although I know he wasn't great down the stretch. But what I was talking about here is you get football, baseball, basketball, hockey with premium, everything, all the sports, golf, MMA, everything you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR. Your first month is less than $80 at $79 and change. That's just $5 more than NBA premium. If you just want to play NBA, by all means, but you can get the rest for $5 more. Also, I know they were on the show yesterday on Crunch Time talking about shot quality. If you want access to the most advanced NBA data in the market, it's shot quality. You can have it synced up with Lineup HQ. You can get yourself 1 month for $40, $200 for the entire season. If you want to test run, you want to see what it is, you want to learn what the product is, it's brand new to you. It's brand new to me as well. It's less than $10 for a 3-day pass. All right. Ruthless Villain wants to know who your captain is. Do you know who your captain is tonight for baseball? Have you gotten that far, Chop?
Well, I just looked, Dean. I just looked, and I do need to do some baseball, and I need to do a lot of it, and that's crazy. Baseball is like the biggest one, and it's just a showdown. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to enter, though. I'm going to do that. But if I was going to guess right off the bat, I don't like either of these starting pitchers. I think they get the quick hook with the rested bullpens.
Two of the best pitchers in the World Series. We were talking about this before because the pitching is not very deep, but it's Cole versus Flaherty.
First of all, Cole hasn't gone, I don't think, 80 pitches all postseason. So he's not a guy who's going to work deep. And then Flaherty can definitely get beat up by this lineup pretty quick. So I just don't like the pitchers. I'd say somebody like Max Muncy or something like that will probably end up, like a mid-range, really good hitter with power will be my captain tonight.
Derek said, right when you said it, he said Captain Muncy. Muncy had that stretch of like 11 straight at bats where he reached base. A lot of it was walks. By the way, report here is that Claxton is expected to see increased minutes tonight. Interesting. Okay, so maybe he is. I assume that means he starts. But we'll see. No official lineup just yet for Brooklyn. That is a 7 o'clock game.
Give me my credit, Dean. I said if the guy draws the start, his minutes are going to jump up. I said it.
Well,
give me my credit, Dean.
There you go. Well, what do you want? How do I?
I'd like the rest of the afternoon off. Is that possible for making that good call?
From 6:20 Eastern, your schedule's clear. You're good to go, Chop. Does that work for you?
Man, Bobby's just sitting back smoking a cigar. You know damn well his camera works. This is all big shit. You knew his camera worked the minute that he froze in this GQ pose position. Like, oh yeah, that was accidental. That was an accidental. Perfect. Come on, Bobby. We're onto your game here, brother.
By the way, sprinkle in any questions you have in chat. And I don't know, did we not get the polls? I think Steve might be too bitter about his Mets. He doesn't want to put the poll up for the people. I saw people in the chat just responding, typing in Dodgers or Yankees, but am I not seeing the polls? They're going to be popping up in a second. We shall see. I know Steve is spinning a lot of plates these days. Okay, next game up is Memphis and your Rockets, Chop. 4-point favorite here for Houston at home. 226.5 is the total. Zach Edey, his debut was an absolute disaster. He fouled out in 15 minutes. A person named Jay Huff got a ton of run for Memphis. I don't know how repeatable that is, but that was kind of wild. He plays and closed over Brandon Clark, who he face planted as a really, really chalky play. We talked about Şengün smashing last time out. Where do we have the Rockets and Memphis for you, Chop? I don't really like this game. Amongst the 10, this is one of my least favorites.
This doesn't look. It's odd because the total and the total on this game is pretty high, and the spread is pretty tight. So we don't expect a blowout, and we expect some points, and it's tough not to. But Şengün's your best option on Houston, and he's priced up pretty good. So, if you want to go that route, that's fine. Who's gonna, if Edey? Edey will get into foul trouble again, and I don't think Edey will be a guy that really gives him that many problems anyway.
Şengün's going to work him, right?
Yeah,
he's too fast for him.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. Needs to improve that damn 3-point shot though, but
he'll get some fouls on him too. I think he can draw some fouls.
Yeah. But that's it. The rest of the Rockets, like, you're really hit or miss on all these guys. There'll be a point in time here, real soon. They lose too many more games. Thompson for Dylan Brooks, and then you can start him because he'll stuff the stat sheet, man. So get ready for that one. But on the Memphis side, everybody's priced. Ja's 95. Edey is a foul trouble waiting to happen. And I guess the one guy, maybe Aldama, maybe. That's about it.
It's a revenge game for Dylan Brooks, by the way, if you care about such things.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But, man, what does he do? What does he bring to the table anymore? Like, he's not even, like, he's not even a good defender, and that's his whole MO, man.
His defensive game is gone? Is that true?
Oh, man. He was getting blown by in game one. So, yeah, it's rough, man.
that's his calling card, like the feistiness, does the gritty stuff, that kind of thing. If he doesn't do that, what's the point?
People forget me and Dylan Brooks had a little kerfuffle at the Spurs game last year. So some people are calling this karma for Dylan Brooks having lost a step. They're calling it karma. I don't know.
You never officially released that story. I know you kind of hinted that there was a story
to the grave with me, but
does the secret chat know about it, or nobody knows?
No, heck no. But I'll say this much: if Dylan Brooks get traded, I will not shed a tear. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I need more information on this for sure. All right, but like early results in the chat as of right now, Dodgers. People want the Dodgers to win tonight at let's see, 72% for the Dodgers, 28% for the Yankees. So begrudgingly, people are clicking LA. Yeah, I just don't. You mentioned Ja. Like, is he going to beat all the other guys at his price point? I just don't see it. I suppose it's possible, but this is basically no chance I'd play him. I don't make enough lineups to get there. I'd have to run at least 100 until I finally say screw it. Let's get John Morant one of his lineups. Let's move on. We still have, like I said, Chop. We got let's see, 30 minutes, Chop. 30 minutes, and we have 4 games, so we can even answer some questions in chat. I know that's what Crunch Time usually does. They knock out the questions in chat, but yeah, let's get to the next one here. We have Chicago and Milwaukee, 235 big boy total here, but it is imbalanced because Milwaukee is a 10-point favorite. It's the front half of a back-to-back also, and for that reason, I think Chicago is their home opener tomorrow night, so they're resting Lonzo. Lonzo's not playing basketball tonight for the Bulls. Other people that are ruled out in this game, of course, Middleton is not playing basketball for Milwaukee. I did see Lopez was on the injury report, but probable with his quad, so he should be good to go. This really feels like an absolute smash spot for Giannis. The Bulls are flying. They're playing at a great pace, which makes Giannis even more appealing. It's just a price. One game sample, but Lillard looks back, at least for one game. He was spectacular first game. One game, Giddey stunk. Giddey kind of stunk for the Bulls. I still think he's a guy that theoretically can be good. Levine's got a pretty good price point. I'll throw that out there. Yeah, Chop, how are you feeling about Chicago, Milwaukee, and are you prioritizing Giannis? I think it's an interesting little game stack. If you're with like Giddey, White, Levine, or two of those guys,
I'm not game stacking this. There's no way. But I'll say this: as far as Giannis is concerned, prioritizing when I start talking about guys who are 9K or more, yeah, because you just don't know with these NBA superstars which one. Like, I'm not saying that, not besmirching the NBA. It's just it's hard to predict whether a night is going to be Luka, Anthony Davis, Giannis, whoever's playing the superstars. Which one's going to go for 80, and then that's the guy you have to have at that level. Definitely Giannis is the front runner for me tonight to be that kind of a guy. So for that reason, I'm going to have him in builds. He's in my player pool for sure and highlighted as a guy I want to jam into some rosters. Other than that, the other Milwaukee players don't do it for me. They don't look very appealing in this game. In Chicago, yeah, I just don't. I'll give Zach LaVine actually looked respectable in game 1. Right? Like, did you watch the game?
I did not. So I was doing the
he's usually
Pick Six show. I couldn't watch a lot of basketball ones in it, unfortunately. I love doing the Pick Six show for football, but unfortunately it happens at the same time. Go ahead.
Well, he's not known as a good real life player, but he looked like a good real life player. Like, he looked respectable. Like, maybe he's toned down his shot taking decision making. So that's fine if you want to go that route. They're cheap. Levine's cheap. I'd rather go Levine over Kobe White. I'd rather go Levine over Vucevic on that team. So it'd be, the game stack for me wouldn't be a game stack. It'd be a Giannis versus Levine, and that's it. But Giannis as a one-off in this game is fantastic. He's phenomenal.
Levine, 29 years old, 43 mil this year. Still 2 more years at 45 and 48.
You know what it was, Dean? Not to cut you off. What it was I think it was a total slap in the face in the offseason when nobody wanted to trade for him. When he was on the block,
would you
100% out there? No, not if I'm a serious playoff contender. That's not. No, but I'm saying to him, he's like, wow, nobody wants me. And I think he readjusted his game and he took it as some motivation, and he looks a lot better this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that he's bad, but just like, bang for your buck kind of thing. It seems pretty ridiculous nobody wants a piece of that contract. It's not expiring in. He's got 2 more years signed until 26, 27. I'm seeing a proof of life. Is that Bobby Gomes? Bobby, we back?
We'll see how long I last for, because this is getting pretty ridiculous.
Bobby, what seems to be the problem? Is it your internet?
No, my computer's just old. This has been happening. Like, it's just been randomly shutting down too.
You gotta get you a new one, man. Get you some Alienware. This stuff is tough.
That's what is that what I should get? Is that your recommendation?
Yeah. Get you an Aurora 14 Alienware, brother. You won't ever shut down.
All right. I don't know what that is.
I'll take the rec from
an Apple
shop. I know he knows his stuff.
Oh yeah, it's not Apple. It's Microsoft kind of stuff. Windows. So be prepared. I'm a desktop guy.
No, I use PC, so I'm
okay. There you go. PC. Yeah, I'm not a big laptop guy.
By the way, Chop, Fighting Moose in chat says we need Chop to spill the tea on the. How many likes? How many likes? So we get like 1,000 likes. Would you spill the tea?
1,500 likes, and I'll consider it.
1,500.
What's the tea? I missed this now. What's the tea?
There's a backstory. Chop had a bit of a kerfuffle. So maybe it was a verbal kerfuffle. I don't know. With Dylan Brooks. Have you heard this being floated out? I guess this happened at the court, at the arena for a Houston game.
I actually have heard this. It's not surprising, though, because not like it's random, obviously, that it was Head Chopper, but I feel like Dylan Brooks has an altercation with pretty much everyone in the NBA, so it's another fan on the sidelines,
Yeah, what a buffoon.
Just the fact that it's Chop makes it.
Just taking shots, but not giving any clarity as to what actually happened. But, all right. Let's go ahead but did you have anything, Bobby, as far as Memphis and Houston? I'm sorry, I know you're just jumping in, but
I don't like Giannis as much just because of the price at 11-1, and I don't think we have a ton of value.
Yeah,
that would be my main take. I could play like Zach LaVine at 7K or Bobby Portis, but there's not much I really like on the slate. I know Lillard had a good game 1. I just really dislike playing Lillard. Would probably I would go Giannis over Lillard, but I just don't think that I'm gonna have as much Giannis tonight.
I was just thinking about as a run back, and I like Giannis as is. Like Chop was talking about Giannis a la carte, and I think 35 minutes or so, especially the speed that Chicago plays. I know last year they were a funnel to threes, and that's not necessarily Giannis's game, but also there's no rim protector here, and Vooch is not a great rim protector. So I think if he's going to the hole, he can do whatever he wants essentially. So I just think that 75, 80, and it's kind of what you need, in this slate. You need like 70 plus for Giannis. But I was thinking maybe if I'm playing 2 of Giddey, LaVine, I want to run it back with Giannis. My favorite is probably LaVine amongst LaVine, Giddey, and White. Not going to play Williams, not going to play Vuk, not mess with anything else there in Chicago. Okay, Golden State and Utah, 235 is the total, and normally we like 235 totals. But when you're the Golden State Warriors, you play 12 dudes. They played 12 guys in the first 13 minutes. Like everybody, it wasn't like blowout stuff. This is kind of their plan. They have too many like pretty good players and not a lot of great players. They have one great player in Steph, and everybody else is like kind of good. I think Kuminga's ascending, but last season nobody played more than 30 minutes on average, as opposed outside of Curry. I don't want to play the guessing game. It is a good matchup against Utah, but everybody's going to play basically 20-ish minutes or so. It's hard for me to get excited about them. Bobby, do you feel differently about Golden State? I do think Curry, of course, obviously. You can always play Steph. But I really don't like anybody else on Golden State.
Yeah, you could always play Curry. And like you said, they're playing like a 12-man rotation for whatever weird reason, I guess because they're older and they want to save guys for the end of the year. And they also have a ton of mediocre talent that they can kind of get away with it. Yeah, I think it would be Curry for me. He'd probably be my favorite play. I do have interest in the other side, though. Like you called it last game with Walker Kessler, Dean. And I think he's
legit.
He's legitimately the real deal. Like him a good bit. Chop was on Markkanen, got me to end up calling him for my play of the day. He had a pretty good night too. Any like Trace Jackson Davis at 4,500? Do we have interest in? I feel like currently
it's fine.
I'm playing a little bit of that. But outside of that, like nothing really. on either side. Not getting to Clarkson. I played him the other night. No Sexton, played him the other night. Just, yeah, that's pretty much the four guys that I have interest in.
Center is really, really strong, and like he's center only. Pretty good price on DK for sure, 4-5. And like for cash, if you want to play him for cash, if that kind of works, makes your cash game lineup work, I'm okay with it. I don't know. Again, I don't know what his ceiling is because he's not going to play. I shouldn't say not. He's unlikely to play more than like 28 minutes. We currently have projected for 23 for what it's worth. I don't really think he hurts you per se, but it's just going to be a lot of variance with this Golden State lineup.
Dean,
what do you got, Chop?
I would say some mildly not big breaking news, but mild. It sounds like Josh Green, who missed the Hornets opener with his Achilles, will make his debut tonight.
Oh,
so that kind of throws that other stuff that we already talked about into the trash. Yeah, that'll change some things up. You got to wait for lineup HQ to update and all that other stuff, but it sounds like he's going to make his debut. So we got to worry about that. But as far as this game is concerned, I'm kind of with Bobby. Not an appeal. Markkanen because of the upside, yes. Kessler because of the upside, especially on FanDuel with those blocks. He's a cheat code, man. When he gets plenty of minutes over there.
And you see his price though? They bumped it up quickly.
I did not. I only see
like 7.5. He jumps.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But he gets a lot of blocks. So I guess that'll definitely make his ownership like nothing tonight then. So GPP. That's all I play is GPPs anyway. And Trace Jackson Davis is the only guy for Golden State I would even entertain, and that's because the price is so respectable on DraftKings, and that's it. I'm not paying any more than that for any of these other guys who are splitting so much time.
So he is Kessler jumped to 7.6 on FanDuel. Our current ownership projection 1%. You can only roster one center. I wouldn't play him. Can he get there? Sure, but I'm not making enough lineups. If I was making 100, maybe you get one or so, but with the field, maybe he's 2% owned, but it's really hard to justify. But he's a guy that can score 9 points and put up like 47 FanDuel points or like 40 FanDuel points. He can have like 7 or 8 stocks on a given night, 5 of which being blocks, and grab 12 boards, and he's on his way. All right. Anything else as far as Utah and Golden State? I believe we're moving on here, boys, because we have 2 more games. Yeah, we're gonna have some questions in chat. This is gonna be great. Plenty of time for questions. Phoenix and the Lakers, 227 is the total here. Lakers are 2-point favorites. The reins are turned over, Chop, for Davis. It's Anthony Davis's team now, I think. His usage flipped. He had more usage than LeBron opening night. Redick being the new coach here. And, why not? LeBron is spectacular, greatest player of all time. But, father time. He's going to be 40 at some point this year. His son is literally on his team for now. I guess they said he's going to go away to the G League after, I guess, a 5-game road trip or something like that. They're already planning that out. But they got to get LeBron to give him an assist for his first bucket ever in the league. That has to happen at some point, possibly in garbage time. We'll see. Not sure if he's in the rotation tonight. Chop, Phoenix and the Lakers. Phoenix barely got away with a W, taking on the Clippers and the Wall. I did get a chance to see that, Chop. Did you see the Wall in LA by chance?
Yeah. Very cool, man. Right? Don't you think?
What's the Wall? I missed it.
So the Clippers have a brand new arena out in Los Angeles, the Intuit Dome, I believe it's called. It looks incredible. Was it $3 billion? A lot of money, and I think Ballmer paid for most of it, and not all of it. I know he played a big chunk of it. But so the Wall is behind the visitors' basket for the second half, and it's I think there's no assigned seats, and I didn't kind of dig in on it. I think it's you just kind of run, it's the super fans. Basically, it's super fans. You're not allowed to sell your season tickets. You have to I think you have to wear Clippers jerseys, or you're encouraged to do so, or maybe you get a discount for it. But it's right on top of the court. It's almost straight up. It's very vertical, I guess. You know how arenas kind of grows out like stairs almost?
Yeah.
Maybe Steve can throw up a picture of what the Wall looks like. But the point is, it's almost like a college basketball atmosphere. And Durant missed 2 free throws facing the Wall. They're very active. it feels like a real home court, at least for one game. It feels like a real home court out there in LA. But nonetheless, Durant here in LA taking on the Lakers. They've been hanging out in LA the last couple of days or two. I'm sure just staying in their hotel room and studying the playbook. What do we have as far as the Suns and the Lakers here, Bobby?
Yeah. So I know you guys are on Anthony Davis, but I think I'm going to go to LeBron tonight. Just because, like, you think the first night with his son, there's probably a lot of thinking through how that ceremony and procession was going to go with him coming out within 2 minutes. I know the usage flipped over to Davis. Davis was obviously very good. But for me, I'm just going to play LeBron early. And if everyone's going to Davis, I'm only playing one of the two on the same team. Like, I'll definitely have Davis exposure, but I think I'm going to be over on LeBron a little bit. Also, like Austin Reeves, think he was fine. He played really good the other night, 5,800. I think that's a good price tag. But not much outside of that. Like, I don't have any interest in any of these Phoenix Suns. Durant, Beal, like pretty much zero interest. The one thing with Davis is he's getting Nurkic defense, right? So he could really eat that up, I would imagine.
They take him off the court. Just say Nurkic doesn't close. He's probably not going to close, just for the record. They kind of kick him off to end the game. But yeah, he'll be out there for a good bit. He got in foul trouble opening night against Zoo. But yeah, Phoenix likely does not close with Nurkic. But yeah, Davis. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue your thought, Bobby.
No, I just think that I'm going to lean more LeBron tonight than AD. And I know around the industry, more people are going to lean the Davis side.
That's interesting. He's like, I'll tell you what we have. We have LeBron at 14% and Davis at 5%. It's a salary thing, right? But I'm trying to get to Davis. I think he's an awesome tournament play. But again, center and center only. I love centers tonight, but it's not hard to get over. It's not hard to get over. And I love him as like a closing piece. And I'm not here to say LeBron's dead, obviously. I hope that that's not how it's coming across, because I just think that this season Davis is going to be the man more so than LeBron. Kind of inevitable. He looks, assuming he stays healthy, big assumption. Chop, you got to take on this. Also, Hachimura was very good too. Played 35 minutes, I think, opening night, and I think he's still cheap enough where he's there's amongst those 5K players we sort of ran down. I think he's in the mix. Chop, what do you have as far as the Lakers? I'm in agreement with Bobby. Phoenix is just not very interesting to me on the whole.
Yeah, games like this, I have a hard time like finding guys I like, because you've got this big two-headed monster for LA and they're both super expensive, and you got this three-headed monster for Phoenix and they're expensive to where you don't really want to, get too in deep with them. But I'll say that, for Phoenix, if you're looking for a little salary, Tyus Jones being the point guard here is fine. Like, he's a decent little player in this system. He should rack up. Honestly, this guy should he should get a double-double almost every night here with this team as he gets going, because there's so many good shooters. He should find 10 assists a night easy. That's what they were lacking last year, was a point guard. So he's got
Booker
that.
Handles the ball. Isn't Booker really the point guard?
Nah, Tyus Jones. I give Tyus Jones 35 minutes for Tyus Jones. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, he's
right
out there. I don't know if I'd call him. I mean, he's the point guard, but Booker's really the guy handling the ball.
Well, in certain sets, in certain situations, but Tyus is the one they want the ball in their hand, bringing it up the court for the most part. So anyway, 5,300. I think he's fine. The rest of those guys are priced appropriately. Like, I'll play Anthony Davis because he really looks good right now and he's healthy right now. There'll be a time when he leaves the game, and that'll be that. But LeBron, man, I'm worried about LeBron. 89 is a lot to pay for him right now. I know what Bobby's saying, and it might be a LeBron game. He may snap out of it tonight, but
ESPN game.
He might. But I just, between those two guys, that's a tough sell. Reeves and Hachimura being relatively affordable kind of makes them more popular for me in this game.
All right. Last game. By the way, the first half of the ESPN doubleheader, if you didn't piece it together, it's Indiana at New York. So, yeah, New York and LA is our doubleheader tonight. The last game, the Hammer. And, again, chat, load up some questions. If you have this guy or that guy questions, by all means, we'll do our best to knock those out. Crunch time coming in at about 12 minutes or so. So we'll have some time to kind of give our final thoughts as well and answer some questions in chat. The Pels are taking on the Blazers. The Blazers are horrific. New Orleans, gutted with the loss of DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray, I think it's a wrist, I want to say. He's not playing basketball tonight. They are expected to get Zion back. We are projecting Tice to start, which I think is fragile. I'm not sure. Maybe. We saw Misi play really good. I don't know how repeatable that is, but just noting that in the first game of the season, he played excellent. Herb might be the center if Tice doesn't start. But again, stay tuned. The absence of Murray does sort of leave a big hole here for New Orleans. The rest of the guys, as far as who's in and who's out in this game, Portland, no Shaden Sharp, no Thibault, and no Time Lord, no Robert Williams. Portland, man, it's rough. There's some really bad teams. Like there's a lot of teams that have like a lot of like good players, like their 9th, 10th, 11th guy is good, or playable, like Orlando or like Golden State, like Houston. Like Houston's kind of too deep. They got to figure that roster out. But man, there's some really terrible teams too, and Portland is one of them. Chop, bless you, by the way, Bobby. Where do we have New Orleans and Portland? I would like Zion as like kind of a sneaky. I'm a little bit concerned, like minutes wise, coming back from the health thing.
So were we projecting Isaiah Jackson out because Isaiah Jackson is now available to play?
We had him in. We had him in 11 minutes.
So we're good. All right. We're all right.
They usually lean in. If it's like 50-50, they're going to project him in. If it's like an 80% chance, generally they're really like, unless they feel really confident the guy's not going to play, they usually project him in and then adjust when they go out.
Okay. Well, we're good then. Zion, I think, is a really sneaky. Well, I don't know how sneaky he is. I think he's going to be relatively popular.
I don't think so. Is he?
Like, what do you mean? What do you think popular is? I think 20% range could be 15 to 20% on a 10-game slate is relatively popular, and I think that's where he'll end up being. He's only 81.
Yeah,
he's only 8,100. Yeah, I got. Wait a minute. What would you say?
I think 20% is like popular is like it's a sliding scale, of course, in basketball.
So I always judge it by a guy's ownership. What's the cash line in a tournament? Is it the top 20% get paid? The top 23% get paid? So if it's the top 20% get paid, then like theoretically, if he has a monster game, you might not even cash without him. Something along those lines. So 20%. All right. So yeah, but he's the guy. The other guys, he kind of drives down the other guys for me. So I don't really need McCollum, who's an aging veteran. Ingram kind of needs those extra shots when Zion's out I guess he doesn't need them, but it would be nice to have him. And of course it ruins the Daniel Tyson, the other guy. So Zion, good tournament guy. He's got upside. Portland, DeAndre Ayton, tournament guy. We've seen what he can do, given the free range in Portland with nobody else to contest him for shots. So you got that going on. Simons. Yeah, Simons will be all right. Who else? Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant's all right. And our boy Binefor.
Right? We're not playing Simons tonight. We're not playing Simons or Jeremy
Probably
Grant
not.
tonight.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. He's only 2%, so we're not missing.
He's just
anything.
naming names.
No, I was looking at. Well, I mean, what is he projected at? Like 30 plus. Anybody who's going to get projected at 30 plus points and less than 7K, you got to consider. Like you got to consider that, man. 30 plus points as a projection. We know he has upside. He's done it before, and a cheaper price tag. So, but I was going to say he's probably a little too expensive. Kamara is probably a little too expensive. But our boy Binefor is all on this guy, man. He's all on this guy for those props. So if you can still get his props at a pretty reasonable, like 7.5 points, Binefor keeps pushing and it keeps hitting. So
let me shout out Binefor since you mentioned him. I did see he hit a 10-1 on he laddered Peyton Pritchard yesterday, his threes. And I think he had him at 2, 3, 4, 5, I want to say. He wrote him up on Scores and Odds. And I saw it was a 10-1 number.
Well, that's fantastic, Dean. But let me tell you, in our secret chat, some guy told me to go ahead and ladder Luke Cornett. That was a nice. I wish I would have had Pritchard. It don't matter.
Not threes,
the guy had a 3-rung ladder. That's all he had anyway in any stat category. But
here's the thing. The guy in your secret chat doesn't know. Just so you know, Chop. There's the thing he doesn't know. Cornett doesn't play garbage time. He doesn't play garbage time. So he actually gets hurt by blowouts.
And the guy in the secret chat heard that somebody said that and responded with, that guy's full of SH. I don't want to say it on the air, Dean. I want to get us kicked off YouTube. That guy said you and whoever else said that. Oh, I know what he said. I know who it was. I know where you got that info from. He said that guy was full of shit, man.
What info? I'm not
sure
what
somebody else said that Cornette doesn't play garbage time.
Yeah, he didn't play garbage time in game one. I had him on some of my rosters, and he got hurt. He got hurt by the blowout.
My secret chat guy says that's not accurate. He said that guy don't know the Celtics. My secret chat guy is a Celtics guy. He knows the Celtics.
Just say Kirkwood. It's okay.
I'm not saying no names. It's a secret chat, Dean. I would not give out names in a secret chat. But my guy is a Celtics honk, and he says that is erroneous. Cornette.
I'll tell you that he did not play garbage time game one. He absolutely did not play garbage time. That's what I'll tell you. So we'll see. We'll see going forward, I suppose. He did play more last year, I think, but he definitely did not play game one garbage time. Bobby, your thoughts as far as Portland and New Orleans?
Yeah, not a ton of interest here. Zion Williamson, I'll probably take the field. DeAndre Ayton almost played, like he could have played 35 minutes last night. I don't like to play Ayton, but I'll play him tonight. 7K. I could play some Ayton. I don't love it. Center is loaded. So really my favorite play would be Zion. I do think that Brandon Ingram, like his role is going to have to change now, right? He was mainly going to be coming off the bench. And now with Murray out for however long he's out, 4 to 6 weeks, whatever it is, he's probably back to his, I think he may be back to like that normal role. Like he's going to have to start, right? You would imagine. So maybe
he's going to start.
Yeah, so getting some Brandon Ingram shares would be worth it, I think, if you're playing larger field stuff. But nothing I love in this game.
All right, 5 minutes or so until crunch time comes in. If any thoughts or so in chat, by all means. But let's just kind of give the summary. I ran like some optimals, quote unquote optimals, right? And this is an interesting chop, like the most popular players that are coming up in the optimal lineups I ran, and we live north of the salary cap, and this is why it's happening. Caleb Martin, 49%, Grady Dick, 41%, Dyson Daniels, 38%, DeAndre Hunter, 31%, Miles McBride, 28%. Stop me when it's like a player you really like. They're all usable. Oubre, 28%. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. Levine, and then LaMelo the next. Like those are the two guys that are like good. I was surprised to see Santi Aldama come 23%. I think he's fine, but I'm not excited about it. Trae Young, 22%, Banchero, 22%. But yeah, I guess if these hold to some extent, or like people are going to be using, I'm going to be pretty different. This is more like, I guess, for cash games necessarily, and you throw away some of these guys in their tournaments to make things work. But Chop, do you have any thoughts on that? Do we like those? Your favorite like mid-tier cheapy guy amongst like Caleb Martin, Grady Dick, Dyson Daniels, Hunter? Do you have a preference amongst those?
So like it's tough to fade some of the cheaper chalk, man, even in tournaments. Like you can do some of it is bad, but a lot of times it's chalk for a reason these days. It's pretty good, so it's tough to fade it out. But the favorite one that you mentioned that's popping in, probably Gravy Dick.
Who's that again?
Grady Dick. He plays for Toronto.
I'm hearing
he does the best. He does the best jersey swaps out there.
Yes. Who was it? Who did he do it with? I can't remember.
Anthony Black.
Anthony Black. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the positioning. Bobby, do you have a preference amongst those names I threw out for as far as the cheapies amongst the guys I just threw out there? Do I need to run them back for you? Martin,
running back for me. Chop distracted me.
Derek says, well, Chop is saying gravy.
Roth is saying, prove it, Derek.
Play the tape. I'm pretty sure you're saying gravy. Bobby, Caleb Martin.
I got a speech.
Grady Dick. I almost said gravy. Dyson Daniels, Hunter's teammate, McBride. A favorite amongst those.
It would be Caleb, Grady Dick, Dyson Daniels, and Hunter, just in that order. McBride. Did you run the Sims? Because I just ran the Sims, and that's the.
What do you got?
That's the order. That's the exact order I got.
Derek is he wants to know a 6,600 or less utility player on DK. I think it might be Giddy. Might be Giddy at 6'6". I like him better on FanDuel, but if you have the salary, if you have 6'6". Bridges is there for New York.
I like Podol.
Yeah, Pirtle. I think he's fine.
6,100.
I can't believe I lost an under on Bridges opening night. He scored 0 points in the first half. His shot was completely broken. They lost by like 70, but Thibodeau kept him out there until he hit the over, and then he said, all right, now you can hit the bench. He scored like 15 points in the second half. I could not believe it, but nobody cares.
Why did he change up his shot like that? Is there reasoning behind it?
I don't know, but it looks really weird. But he started making threes.
It looks like Larry Bird, like 1980s, like over your head three. I don't know. It doesn't look correct.
By the way, Trent is in and Caleb Martin is in. The Toronto starting lineup is Barnes, Mitchell, Dick, Agbaji, and Pirtle. So any sort of potential. We wasted 3 minutes on talking about the Bucks. Nonsense. Do not worry about the Bucks. Nonsense. Trent, Isaiah Jackson are good to go. I don't think there's really much else we're waiting for. Things can happen as far as new body parts jumping in, jumping out. Chop, we have Crunch Time coming in a second. Before we bring them in, Chop, you want to give me a player? You want to give me a game stack?
No.
A 2 or 3 man combo? Give me something.
A game stack. I'll give you a player. I'll give you a player, Dean. And I hate to man, I don't want to step on your toes here, Dean.
Step on
my player is going to be Andre Drummond.
That's my guy.
I just said I don't want to step on you. You just said you gave me permission to step on your toes. You knew I was going to say that when I said, but I mean, I like Andre Drummond. Like, he's a terrible real life player, probably more or less, but man, can he rack up some rebounds, man? And like, he can put up 40 in the first half tonight. I love guys with upside in DFS, and he's got it. So that's going to be my guy.
TJ in chat saying Raptors 76ers game stack season. Yeah, that was my take in the survey today. So I don't know if TJ is just we're in the in simpatico, but great minds and all that good stuff. My bold call was Drummond as 20 rebounds and Maxey drops 40 in the bucket. The teammates, they're both going off. And I like Barnes on the other side, like Dick as well. Pirtle's fine, so it feels like a pretty good. I don't like a full-on game stack, obviously, the 10-gamer, but I think I'm able to get to 5. I haven't made my lineup just yet. Got to do it in a second. That game starts in 40 minutes. Bobby, see Drummond and raise it. Who is your guy?
I'm going to go on the cheaper end. I'm going to go Jalen Suggs tonight. He's in a good spot, 4,800. A lot of up in the air value. But I like Suggs. I think he's pretty interesting.
Let's go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. We have our poll results as well. I'll give them in just a second as we seamlessly segue to Crunch Time. All right, so 2 things. Roth, you were what were you hearing? You said I can't with this guy. It sounded like you were commenting on Chop. Were you hearing things too, or is it me? Am I making up things?
That was gravy. That was as gravy gets.
It was gravy, right? So
yeah,
play the tape.
That was gravy.
Okay.
I have braces when I was
a kid. Look how red Dean's face.
Some of the words don't come out right. I had braces when I was a kid.
That's fair. Yeah.
Look how red Dean's face is right now.
You know what it is I didn't put my light on strong enough, and when I don't have enough light, my face gets redder. I promise you, it's not this red. It's really, really pale. I've not seen the sun since like 1972.
You live in Florida once again. You live in Florida.
Overrated. Yeah, I'm walking around in hoodies. Dodgers, Yankees. How happy is Roth that baseball season is basically? I'm assuming there's nothing going on weather-wise tonight in LA. There never really is.
Yeah, it's great. My life is so good. I just spent an hour just making NBA DFS lineups. It was amazing. So much better than forecasting.
Do we care about the Dodgers and the Yankees? Anybody care? Dodgers currently are 57% of our chat. That is who they're rooting for tonight to start the World Series.
It's fun. I mean, it's one of the best matchups you could ask for, just story-wise. So, yeah, I want the Dodgers to win. I want Shohei to go bonkers. It should be fun.
There you go. All right. Myself, Chop, Bobby, do appreciate watching the first portion here. We are going to seamlessly segue to Crunch Time. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're out of here. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. My camera's a little choppy, but hopefully my audio is good. Hopefully we're gravy over here. We got a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. TJ in the house, back to back. What up, TJ?
Doing well, ready to break down the slate. It's a fun one, and we got a busy weekend of content. So looking forward to hopefully being a little more profitable tonight than last night.
Okay, well that works. My boy, I had a good lineup except for one dude, Wemby. My boy just absolutely crushed me. He did terrible. I'm going to run that back next time. I'll tell you that. And then I'm going to run it back every game from now on for the rest of the season. And I think I'll end up okay. We got Taylor Smith in the house as well. What up, Taylor?
Not much. I haven't been on a show in like a month. I've been hibernating. So good to be back for some hoops on Friday night.
Yeah, it's good to have you. We've got a nice slate. I think we've got 10 games. I might have made that up, but we've got a bunch of them. So let's talk about it. We have 35 minutes until lock. Taylor, do you want to dive into the slate? We can either start on FanDuel and just go position by position, or you can give me a general outlook first.
Yeah, so early in the season, we don't have a ton of news we're waiting on, thankfully. We do have still some injuries, though. Toronto very shorthanded. Philly shorthanded again tonight. Charlotte is missing a couple of starters. Memphis is without Jaren Jackson again. And the Pelicans don't have DeJounte Murray, but all in all, it's pretty good. The view seems not wonderful, but clear enough. We did get the news that Caleb Martin will start. Didn't start the other night. KJ Martin started. Caleb started the second half. Caleb wound up playing like 37 minutes. So he's going to be a pretty good source of value, and there's a lot to pay up for. So decent slate overall.
And do we not think that they can just switch the Martins like they did in the opener, and then the guy that we expect to get the run doesn't this time, just based on how it goes? Like there's fragility there.
Yeah, it's not a lock, but I just think Caleb is a better player than KJ. I think he makes a lot more sense for what the Sixers need.
Yeah.
These aren't the Martin twins. These aren't the Martin twins where it's just like one or the other. Caleb's the significantly better player and would be playing 30 plus minutes regardless. KJ wouldn't really take away too much from that.
Okay, good note. Taylor, anything else you want to add here?
No, I think we can go ahead and dive in.
Okay, well, let's do it. I will start it off with TJ since you gave me a general rundown. TJ, you want to start things off with FanDuel, starting off at point guard? What do you like?
Yeah, sorry, just switching my screen over here to FanDuel really quick. But point guard, we do have a lot of decent options up top. We talked about the other night how there was a lot of spend down value options at the point guard position. Today, a lot of our best ones are spending up here. We got LaMelo Ball, Trae Young, Tyrese Maxey. Love all three of those. In tournaments today. Sorry, Dean distracted me in the
Is that
chat
a real
here.
fact?
Yeah, that's
Kenyon. I was on. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the game last time. Richard Jefferson was bringing up how he remembers going to the NBA Finals, and KJ Martin was just a little baby on Kenyon Martin's knee at that time, and now he's watching him in the NBA. Yeah, but LaMelo Ball, Trae Young, Tyrese Maxey, those are my three up top that I like getting to the best. I'd probably prioritize Maxey on FanDuel just because he is a little bit cheaper than the other two. Outside of those three, I do think I'd probably be more willing to save some salary as opposed to going spending up to some of the other ones. Like you do have Steph, you do have Brunson, other guys that are in good spots, but you have Lillard. I just prefer those three. In the mid tier, Kobe White is looking like a pretty strong option. Josh Giddey is projecting for a ton of ownership, but I think that's personally something I would want to be fading in tournament. Same with the Darius Garland and Damian Lillard ownership. I just don't really think you need to go there. I think CJ McCollum at 74 is okay. Same with Fred VanVleet at 78. Little D'Angelo Russell at 63, I think is fine. But for the most part, my big three here really are Ball, Young, and Maxey, and I want to spend up when I can.
Okay, good stuff. Taylor, you want to add anything there at point guard?
Yeah, I think VanVleet is interesting. He and Sexton both. You can play Sexton at point guard on FanDuel. Both ran really cold with the shooting the other night, but a lot of usage for both starting roles on their teams. I think those are pretty good plays. I think Steph Curry, we know he's playing. He's 8,700 on FanDuel. No Clay there now. He's going to see most of the usage. He's the one warrior we can kind of feel good about minutes-wise. And I think the matchup against Utah is excellent. So I like him quite a bit. And then go a little bit cheaper. I think, Davion Mitchell's not exciting, but he's starting for Toronto. And Jalen Suggs, I don't think is a bad play either. Maybe more so, maybe better on DK, but starting for Orlando, I don't hate Jalen Suggs either.
Okay, take me to shooting guard. What do you like there, Taylor?
It's a lot of the same stuff. You can play 3 Bulls here: Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Zach LaVine. All look great. I agree that Giddey's the guy I'd want to be on under in tournaments, just because his usage is sketchy. Who knows with the minutes with him, new team and all that. Kelly Oubre at 6'2" is a good value again. He's another guy who shot poorly the other night, but usage was still 28% with Embiid and George out. Starting for Philly, good matchup against Toronto too. I like that quite a bit. I mentioned Sexton. You can play him at shooting guard as well. Grady Dick, another one to consider. Starting for Toronto, should have a path to 30-plus minutes, maybe mid-30s with the injuries they have. I think he looks pretty interesting. Should be chalky, but I think it's decent chalk. And I don't know, McCollum's okay, but that's kind of it for shooting guard for me.
And can I ask, I think this was something Dean kind of brought up at the end of the last show, but when you start getting to these chalky, cheaper guys like Grady Dick, like Daniels, like Martin, is there one of those guys who you are most concerned with? Because I've got all 3 of them in, and I know one of them's let me down.
I think the one I like the least is Daniels. He had 6 blocks and steals the other night combined. He had a 17% usage rate. The minutes are there. They're without Bogdanovic, so I get it, but he ran really hot with something that's not super predictive. So he's the one I would like the least of that trio, I think.
Okay, good analysis. TJ, what do you like there at shooting guard?
Kelly Oubre is, I think, the top option here. I really like Zach LaVine to save salary. It's like Taylor said, Grady Dick and Dyson Daniels. They're both totally fine. Daniels a little bit cheaper on DraftKings, so I think it makes it tougher to get away from him. But he has always been a big steal block guy, and so on FanDuel you do get the benefit of that. Sexton at 6,200, I think, is totally fine. Don't read too much into it because this is very anecdotal and this is just things that I was seeing. But Bradley Beal kind of looked like Bradley Beal in the second half of that Phoenix game, that first game he played. That didn't look like the same passive dealing with injury guy that he was last year. It kind of looked like he went, okay, you know what? Screw this. I'm a star in this league. And he kind of just remembered it. And he just started going off in the second half of that game. He only ended up with 12 shots, but I think 9 of them were in the second half. And so I do really like the idea of getting to him in tournaments. He's only 7K. And then somebody like Keontae George, I think, is fine. And yeah, that's really about it at the shooting guard position for me.
Okay, take me to small forward.
Small forward, you can play Oubre here. You can play Martin here, who we've talked a lot about. Those two are going to be the heavy chalk. Zach LaVine is you can play here as well. He's in a nice spot. Paolo Banchero absolutely just went off in his first game. He's looking like he's going to be taking a step up this year. So maybe we want to get on him before he turns into a 10K player. Grady Dick, good source of value. I really like Scotty Barnes as a potential tournament option, though. We have a lot of these Philadelphia players who are heavy chalk. For them to hit their ceilings, Toronto has to keep the game close. If Toronto keeps the game close, it's probably because Scotty Barnes is 30, 10, and 10.
Okay, very good. Taylor nodding in agreement with the Scotty Barnes take, I believe. Taylor, what else do you like?
Yeah, when I was doing content today, I thought Barnes was going to be natural chalk with all the Raptors injuries, but he's really not. We have him really low owned on both sides. I think he's a phenomenal play. I agree with everything else. LaVine, Oubre, Caleb Martin, Banchero looks great. LeBron you can pay up for. Looked a little rough in the last game, but he's been around for so long. I don't think we should fully say he's washed just yet after one game. So still willing to play him on this slate. Someone who projects decently is Tobias Harris at 6'3" for the Pistons, but don't love that. I think it's probably more of a cash type thing. I don't know. It's a bad matchup. He's Tobias Harris. He's not young, and he's on the Pistons. So I can see why he projects okay. He played 36 minutes the other night, but not exciting.
Okay. Take me to power forward.
Power forward looks a lot like small forward. One exception would be Zion. He's back tonight against Portland. Elite matchup. Should be fine with the minutes. He's 8-9 on FanDuel. Way better value on DK, but still looks pretty good over here on FanDuel. Jared Allen, I think, is okay. Power forward eligibility on FanDuel as well against the Pistons. Otherwise, Barnes, James, Jabari Smith, don't love that. Draymond Green, maybe, but any non-Steph Warriors look kind of rough from a minute standpoint. So I think you're kind of just playing someone from small forward at power forward in all likelihood.
Fair enough. TJ, any thoughts of power forward?
Martin and Banchero, definitely the top two options. Jared Allen coming in right behind them here. I don't mind the Zion call, but I really like 7,700 Jalen Johnson. I think he's in a great spot for tournaments today. Bobby Portis at 5,800 coming off the bench, I think is somewhat viable as a value play today. As is DeAndre Hunter at 5,200. Not like, it's interesting. It's a really big slate, but it doesn't actually feel like it. Like, it actually feels relatively small considering there's like 10 plus games. The pool of guys we want to play is pretty tight, but I don't mind Pascal Siakam, 7,900. I think he's very interesting. And then Taylor Hendricks at 5,100 as well, played big minutes in his debut for the Jazz.
Okay. Center position, TJ, what do we like?
Towns at 7,700 is looking like probably the top option. He let everybody down in his first game, but they got blown out by Boston. I don't think we can really read into it too much. So Towns against Indiana, much better matchup. He's in a great spot, as is Andre Drummond. They were talking about loving him on the last show. I do as well. I think Drummond is in a really good spot today against the Raptors. Allen has center eligibility. Those three, I think, are definitely the top options. Jakob Poeltl is picking up some ownership. I think that's a great tournament fade. I don't think we need to play Jakob Poeltl today. Vucevic at 7,600, I like a lot. But probably my favorite, actually, is Trace Jackson-Davis, 5,100. Love him on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Golden State was in the game wasn't very close, and so nobody played big minutes, but he actually led the team in with 24 minutes in the first game. And I think he's going to be probably a 30-plus minute per game player this year.
Yeah, I could not choose between him and Drummond, and now I'm going double center build. Got to get them both in there. Taylor, what do you like?
I like all those calls quite a bit. The one name I would add is Ayton. The game against Golden State was quite lopsided. The spread tonight is a bit closer for them. Still probably get blown out, but Ayton is good per minute. He's not going to get a ton of ownership with Drummond on this slate. And we saw quite a bit of ceiling from him last year, especially down the stretch once he kind of got. So I think I like him more than DK, but Ayton on FanDuel is also fine.
Okay, guys, I want to kick it over to DK, talk about what we're doing over there. First off, though, we know DFS all about value. That's what we're trying to find. Well, if you're trying to find some value, here's the spot to be. It's right here, RotoGrinders. It's the busiest time in the sports calendar. We got the sports equinox coming up here. Perfect time to sign up for RG Combo for a limited time. Get your first month of combo access for just $79.99. That is just $5 more than NBA Premium. Do not pass up this fantastic value. Make sure you are getting in on that. In the meantime, let's go to DK. Taylor, I just started my build with the Brunson burner, and I think I'm correct in that, but you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's cheap. He's facing Indiana, so a way better spot than they had the other night when he busted against Boston, but it's a pretty stacked position, so it's not like you have to play him. LaMelo is going to be popular over here, I would think. 9,300 looked fantastic against Houston the other night. Even better spot tonight against Atlanta. The guy I'm not really getting to is Trae Young on the other side of that game. I think it's pretty scary, but he is more expensive. But the matchup looks great for him as well. That game could easily shoot out. Dyson Daniels you can play here. I mentioned why I'm kind of somewhat down on him. I'll probably come in around the field, so I'm not really taking a stand. I think he's a perfectly fine value given the minutes he's going to play. I like Jalen Suggs quite a bit over here as well, 4,800 for Orlando, starting at point guard in an exploitable spot against Brooklyn. I like Steph Curry quite a bit. I mentioned Van Vliet on FanDuel, I like him on DK too. On the cheap end, we can go back to Miles McBride, kind of the one Nick who did something the other night against Boston. He ran hot with the shooting, but he's cheap. He has a role. He's a good shooter to begin with, and the matchup is way better tonight. So I think McBride's a perfectly fine value again today.
TJ, as you look at DK, what are you doing there at the point guard spot?
Maxey and LaMelo are the two I'm trying to get to the most. They're my two top options. Brunson probably comes in just behind them. I like Trae Young, but I agree he's pretty tough to get to. Donovan Mitchell at 8,700 I think is interesting at virtually no ownership today. Fred VanVleet 73. Dyson Daniels and Suggs is a salary saver, and then I don't think it's crazy. A lot of the same guys as Taylor said, but I don't think it's crazy to go all the way to 4K to save somebody like Scottie Pippen Jr.
Okay. How about shooting guard, TJ?
A lot of the same guys, but also Zach LaVine at 7K, Oubre 6,200. Going to be chalky, but I think he's in a good spot. Same with Grady Dick and Dyson Daniels. They're probably the two best salary-saving options today. I don't like Miles McBride at 4,100. He's picking up some ownership. His price went up. He scored 24 fantasy points or 26.5 on DraftKings, but he shot 8 for 10 from the field. He shot 4 for 5 from the 3-point line. He just hit absolutely everything. I don't think he's somebody we're going to be able to rely on. So he's chalk that I would definitely be comfortable fading. I don't mind somebody like DeAnthony Melton at 4K if I need to get super cheap with somebody. Same with Jordan Clarkson, 5,400. But that's about it for shooting guard.
Okay. Taylor, anything you want to add there at shooting guard?
Not really. I was hoping TJ wouldn't say Melton because I think he's an awesome pivot from Miles McBride in the same price range. But game blew out the other night. He saw 19 minutes. He had high usage. He's always been good per minute. The matchup against the Jazz tonight is excellent as well. So I agree on Melton. I agree on Oubre, Dick and Daniels, obviously. Zach LaVine projects quite well. No DeRozan anymore for them, so he's going to kind of be the guy there again. So he looks great, and that kind of wraps it up.
Okay, then small forward.
Surprisingly, it's a lot of the same guys, including LaVine, Dick, and Oubre. LeBron James is cheap on DK. He's a good pivot away from like Banchero, I think, in a tournament, although James is not going to be contrarian necessarily. In the same game, I think Rui's pretty interesting, 5K flat still. Both forward eligibility on DK, played quite well the other night. Can't expect that again necessarily, but he's still cheap, and I don't mind that game in general. DeAndre Hunter, kind of an okay value in that Atlanta-Charlotte game that we like. I think he's fine. And that might be it. Small forward is a lot like shooting guard, as usual.
Sure. TJ, any other names you want to throw in there?
Dick and Oubre, the two guys in cash game consideration. We talked about liking LaVine. Cody Martin, if you need to full out punt, I think is fully fine. The other Martin twin. But the only other guys that I think I'd really want to differentiate with for tournaments, I like Bradley Beal a lot at 6,600. Mentioned him on FanDuel. Josh Hart at 57. He had a bad game against Boston, but much better matchup against Indiana, coming in at 4% projected ownership. I think he is a really, really strong tournament play today. Cam Johnson, perfectly fine. OG Anunoby, perfectly fine. A lot of guys in the mid tier that nobody's getting to today that I think make for interesting tournament plays.
Okay, then.
And Lauri Markkanen too. I really like Markkanen for tournaments at low ownership.
Nice. Okay, how about power forward, TJ?
Banchero, top option here, but I think Barnes is just an absolutely incredible tournament pivot. He's $100 more. Banchero projecting for nearly 30% ownership and Barnes for 3. So I think he is a just top tier tournament play. Martin is the best salary saving option. Nobody's going to play Giannis Antetokounmpo today. But I think we have the value to make him work, and the upside is obviously there. Jalen Johnson at 77, Markkanen at 78, both I think interesting plays. Bobby Portis as a salary saver at 57 is fine. And then I mentioned Josh Hart. Just absolutely love him today. And I mean, it's only been one game and he went 11 for 12 from the field, but Onyeka Okongwu played 28 minutes against Brooklyn and absolutely smashed. I think he's someone to potentially take a look at just in case he's a guy that takes a big step forward this year.
Yeah. All right, Taylor, any other names?
I think you can play Santi Aldama for Memphis, power forward center, 5,100 starting for them with Jackson out. I don't love that game in general, but he's a good value. Zion, I mentioned on FanDuel, only 8,100 on DK against Portland. Like, Portland's not stopping anybody. Zion was quite good last year when healthy. Hopefully he's healthy again this year. I guess you can play Yabusele, but he's up to 4K after being 3K the other night. Don't love that. Tobias, I mentioned on FanDuel, I don't think he's a horrible pivot on DK away from some ownership, but there's a lot of downside there. He only had like 18 fantasy points in 36 minutes, so he's still Tobias.
Yeah. Let's see. Triple J is officially out, which I believe was expected. I think he was doubtful prior to that. I'm just realizing I have no Zion and I want Zion, so I'm going to have to start adding more lineups because I absolutely love that call. Taylor, what are we doing at the old center position?
So Drummond, as we said on FanDuel, looks outstanding on DK 6,800. I think he had foul trouble the other night. The matchup's better tonight. Shouldn't be the same issue for him against Toronto. Walker Kessler is way cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel, 5,500. He played 30 minutes in the last game. John Collins only played 18 off the bench. Don't know for sure if that's how it's going to be every night, but still way too cheap for that role if he has it, and he's always been good per minute. So Kessler is a guy I like quite a bit. Jackson Davis, TJ mentioned on FanDuel, looks great on DK. Karl Anthony Towns for 8K flat. You can play Aldama and Zion here. Mentioned Ayton on FanDuel, like him as a pivot from Drummond in a tournament on DK. And then Şengün, I don't think anyone's playing again, and we know what kind of upside he has, even in a rough spot. So yeah, Şengün it is in tournaments.
Okay, TJ, you want to throw in a few more names there at the old center position?
Yeah, I love the Şengün call for tournaments. Drummond is going to be my favorite guy here at the position, only 6,800. I think he's got a massive, massive ceiling. Both Giannis and Anthony Davis going almost completely unowned today. Walker Kessler at 55 is nice, but I love Trace Jackson Davis at 4,500. He's my favorite way to save salary on this slate.
Okay. Easy enough, guys. We got to open it up to some QQs. Power says, Kevin Roth feeling Zion like Lauryn Hill. And yes, I know you don't know what I mean by that. How about I do? It's a Kanye lyric about Lauryn Hill. I wish her heart was still in Zion. I wish her heart was still in Ryman. I butchered that. That's not it at all, but it was close to that. I tried. It was close. All right, let's see what we got here.
Who are the kids going to listen to, Roth?
What?
Who are the kids going to listen to?
I have no idea.
I guess me if it isn't you. That's the same song.
Shit, that is it. That's nice. That's good stuff right there, TJ. All right, let's go to the QQs because I absolutely butchered some rap. So DKGPP, TJ, last piece, Kamara or TJD?
TJD.
Mike's is FanDuel GPP. How do we feel about a low-owned book who had a crappy opener because of foul trouble? Taylor, are we interested in Booker? There's so many weapons there that I just can't click a name on that team because there's too many weapons. It kills me.
Yeah, he's cheap. Like, he's 8,600 on DK, so not egregious. That would be a large field thing. I don't think I'd do that in single entry or anything like that.
Yeah, but also like the dude can score 50 actual points. Like he
can score 70 real points.
Right. I was going to say he can score a lot. Let's see. Do we not have a whole lot of likes here? We haven't broken 100 likes, and yet there are 530 people watching, which seems like a crime. It is Friday. It is free content, and we're giving you literally two of the sharpest people that I know, giving you all the free info. And all that we ask is that thumbs up. We want that subscribe button as well. And we're going to answer your questions as we've been doing. Your favorite FanDuel GPP spend up. I will let you actually spend ups. I will let you each have two FanDuel GPP spend ups. Taylor, you go first.
I think TJ would take Scotty Barnes, so I'm glad I'm going first. I will say Scotty Barnes for one of them. And the other one would probably be Steph Curry.
Okay. TJ, you got a few?
Let's go Tyrese Maxey, Paolo Banchero.
Okay. Very good. Let's see. What did I think it says Kevin will fix his camera for the Monday show if you like to be. Yeah. I don't ever restart my computer. I do it once a year, and it's probably showing signs that maybe I should do that slightly more often. Yeah, Monday, we're going to have a smooth camera here. FanDuel single entry. TJ, do you think it's okay to play 4 Sixers and 2 Raptors?
Well, you might be playing the same lineup because that's one of my 2 is Maxey, Oubre, Drummond, Martin with Dick and Barnes on the other side. And I assume that's the same 6 they got.
Very nice. Okay, so we will give that one 2 thumbs up. Falcor says, Taylor, FanDuel single entry. Would you play Mitchell and Dick in the same lineup? Oh.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I assume that's Davion Mitchell, just because they're both cheap. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't play Mitchell if I'm being honest. Play Melton instead.
Yeah. All right. The fans on your PC have died and went to 3 heavens already, right? Yeah. I am not great at taking care of the tech. I admit it. What do we got here? Taylor, another question for you. I'm jumping in the YouTube, taking your questions there. Just a few minutes ago, Max Coverage says it's DK, Taylor, Hart and Kessler, or Levine and TJD.
Second one, I think.
Okay. Let's see, Taylor, coming back to you for late night games. Can you use night for value? Our guy Jim Parrish in the chat always wants to know about the late night games. You can play all the games, Jim. There's a way you can just play them all, and you don't have to worry about just late night. Taylor, can we use night for value in the late games?
I don't know who that is. Is that like Nathan Knight?
It is a KNIGHT.
I don't see anyone projected named Knight. So probably not.
Yeah, I'm going to go no. And again, I will recommend the full slate. It's more, it's more fun. You get to play dudes not named Knight, dudes that we actually know. Another question about 476ers, and TJ is obviously on board with that. TJ, any interest in Cam Thomas as a tournament play? Tina says, I love the fact that he's coming off a 27-shot game with 13 3 attempts and some peripherals as well. That's a good case. I want to play Cam Thomas now.
Orlando might be the team in the NBA I like playing players against the least, and so that would be my negative. But I think Cam Thomas is essentially always in play in tournaments because he could just randomly pop off for 50 real points.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. TJ Matt Smith says Giddey or Miles Turner. It's a DK Cash question.
Let's see who's projected more. We got Giddey for 33.3, Turner for 35.5. Miles Turner is the answer.
Okay. Taylor, we got a question from Jackson. He says Mobley or Jalen Johnson. I've already got Spida in this lineup. It is a DK question.
I will take Jalen Johnson pretty easily.
Okay. Taylor Marcus says FanDuel Cash or GPP. If I play Davis, do I need somebody from Phoenix for the late night hammer bring back? That's a good question.
I don't think you do because Davis is phenomenal and Phoenix doesn't look great. So no.
Okay, great. Good answer. Both in agreement. I love that. Jumping back really quickly here into the YouTube. TJ, Jay Sams, who asked about 4 Sixers, 2 Raptors, says, do you approve of Yabusele on FanDuel? Because that was the 4th guy he has in.
Let's see what his FanDuel price is. 45. I think it's reasonable, but not my favorite. I probably would not do it.
Okay. We'll go to Falcor's question, TJ. It is FanDuel, and it is a rankum or rank and value pieces here. Mitchell, Dick, Daniels, Martin.
Dick, Martin. No, Martin, Dick, Daniels, Mitchell.
Nicely done, sir. Well done. Let's see what else we've got here. Taylor, coming to you. 3 Charlotte players, too many in one lineup?
I think so. I don't really love anyone beyond Melo. Like you can play Curry or Mann or Martin, but I don't think I love it.
Hoosiers Hang Banner says TJD is the son of Dale Davis. And I have no idea if you guys are just messing with me now. Is that true? Is this factual?
There's only one way to find out, Rob.
We got to get on the Google machine.
Someone saying Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the son of
It's
Dale
true.
Earnhardt
It is Dale
Jr.
Davis' son.
That's crazy. And did Dale Davis have a brother when he was in there, and they were both like kind of hard asses?
I think there was an Antonio Davis that was on the page.
Yeah, I don't even know if
They weren't brothers. They weren't brothers, I don't think.
Okay.
No.
Antonio Davis was a Raptor.
That's crazy to me. We've got all these kids, literal kids now playing in the
Boozers.
NBA.
We got boozers on the way.
We got boozers on the way. Yeah, it's nuts,
boozer
man.
twins.
Yeah.
Raptors starting lineup when I was growing up was, you ready for this? It was Alvin Williams was the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting guard, Vince Carter. Or no, he was more of the 3. Shooting guard was Morris Peterson. Small forward was Vince Carter. Power forward was, I believe, the junkyard dog, Jerome Williams. I think he came off the bench as a 6-man a lot, though. And then center was Antonio Davis. That's the first Raptors team I remember actively watching.
God, good times. Good times. What else do we have here? Why did Suggs? I love this question, Taylor. I'm going to give this to you, but TJ, if you have any analysis here. Oh, God. That dunk contest was just.
I hated that man for a large portion of my childhood, but he is also probably the biggest reason why I love basketball.
Why did you hate him?
He just essentially faked an injury and stopped playing for the Raptors, and they got absolutely nothing back for him in return in a trade. He demanded a trade, refused to play. They got nothing back for him, and then he immediately went to the Nets and was back to being a top 10 player in the league as soon as he got traded. So if he actually just kept playing, they would have not had to do a rebuild from scratch. They actually would have had some pieces.
That's fair. Okay. By the way, yes, those purple Raptors jerseys were fantastic. Derek's question.
They're wearing them again this year. They're back.
Oh, nice.
They wore them on opening night.
Why did Suggs only play 13 minutes last game and he's projected for 30 tonight? Taylor, do we have an answer to this?
I do not believe that is true.
They channel caked the Heat.
Is that true? We played 13 minutes.
Channel caked?
The channel caked is the word we're looking for, but I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if
true.
that's
It
true.
did play 13 minutes. It was a complete disaster for Miami. So, yeah, this game hopefully will be closer, but it probably won't be.
13. Okay. Todd says thoughts on Shed. Is that Jamal Shed? TJ, we got any Jamal Shed lineups?
The Raptors guy. No. Sheed, I think his name is. No, I'm not playing him. But
It is spelled Sheed, but pronounced Shed.
there you go. Shed.
Houston legend.
That's right. Yeah. He's a Coug. Houston Coug.
Don't think I'll be getting there. If he was 3K, maybe, but he's 4K.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We're about 3-4 minutes here until lock. Jumping back in the Discord real quick, see if I missed anything. A couple questions here. Mike says TJ, Zion or Book?
Zion.
What do you guys think about Reeves, Taylor, FanDuel Cash and GPP? Any Reeves?
He is not really on my radar. Let me see what he is over there. He is 6'5". A little pricey. Don't love it.
Okay. Also a note on who was it? Suggs. There was a blowout and he got in foul trouble early. So when you were like, it's a blowout, that still didn't quite explain to me the 13 minutes, but foul trouble early and then blowout, losing minutes in both halves. I could see that.
If you're looking at Reeves, like Kobe White is the same price. I don't know if you have Kobe White, but that's a way better play at 6'5" on FanDuel than Reeves if you're looking at a shooting guard.
Okay. We'll go to my boy Paul. He says Oubre or Hart, Taylor. Big GPP on DK. Oubre or Hart?
I would still lean Oubre, but he's going to be quite a bit more popular than Hart.
I really like Hart, and I think he's got like that sneaky low triple-double upside, you know, like the 10-10-10 game. I have a lot of him. Barnes or Paolo? TJ, Barnes or Paolo?
Barnes if you have 3 or more 76ers, and Paolo if you don't.
Okay. Marcus in the chat says, TJ, am I taking it too personal not playing Giddey? He burned me for props a few days ago. So F that dude. That's what he says. Actually, he said that was on FanDuel. I just read it as F. I read that wrong.
I don't think Giddey's a great play regardless. I'm not getting there, but don't play him just because not play him just because you got burned. You gotta throw that one in the past.
Yeah. Okay. Naja says, Taylor, we got a minute or so until lock. Josh Hart or Kessler, DK single entry, small field GPP.
I like Kessler personally.
Okay. Any concern with Melton not playing? He's probable with the chest. Taylor?
No. If he's probable, I assume he's in.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we've done a good job getting those questions answered. Make sure you do a good job hitting that thumbs up, hitting that like button for us. We're going to be here all season long, giving you the free content, hopefully winning you guys a tournament or two by the end. We've got Dirty Feet 6, which is a phenomenal username. Yeah. Dirty Feet 6 says, Hawks blowout? Question mark. TJ? I don't know what he's asking.
5-point
Hawks?
spread. 2 bad
Blowout?
teams playing against each other. It's always possible, but I don't think so.
Okay. Can I get some insight on Jordan Hawkins, considering using him as a salary saver? TJ, you got any Hawkins?
I don't, but I think he is somewhat viable in large field stuff. He's probably a guy that could play in a blowout projected for 24 minutes. If he gets hot, he could have a solid game.
Hey, guess what? We have hit the lock on that note. I think we can bounce on out of here. So for TJ and for Taylor and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.